Yo, welcome to Music as a Day Job, brought to you by the Qoncert app, which is an artist accelerator that helps artists go from opener to headliner to on tour. It also gives the fan the opportunity to see some of the world's best independent acts hold it down on stage. Um, I'm your host, King Tef Sean Garris. I'm also the CEO of the Qoncert app. And today, one of the things that was brought to my attention I needed to talk about was the keys of success as an independent artist. And this is more of an opinionated situation versus the majority of things that I bring to you guys that is like very factual based on statistics and everything like that. It's just something that I've noticed that artists need to pay attention to. And that's the balance between these three things: hard work, fame, and outside influences. And now a lot of artists get caught up in one and mess like I guess you can overdo and underdo all three of these. And it's just very debative of how you balance all three a lot of times if you want to be what you call successful. And successful may be that you just wanted to get a song in front of like on the radio, or if you wanted to get a song on billboards, or however you want to define success. A lot of this has a lot to do with it unless you figure out a way to get to a label and they help you, they control that for you so you can get success. If you're an independent artist, you have to learn to balance these every day. And so what I mean by that is, first one being the hard work, the work that needs to be put in. Understanding the load that you have to take on is one of those things that a lot of people will fall to, because what happens is they see how big the load is, so they naturally think, I need a team. I need a team. I need a team to do this. Knowing what you need a team for and what you can actually do yourself is very important, because a lot of times people get a team and that'll be the downfall of them, is that they have this team that they feel is like the next thing, like this team is going to help me, and the team doesn't actually help you. It actually becomes a burden because they're not in it as much as you are. So they might not love this business. They might be doing it for pay, so then now you're paying out all these extra people, or they might just be doing it because they know you. So they're not really in love with this like you're in love with it. They're just doing it for you, and that didn't make them put their all into it. So you need to know what parts you can actually pull off and what parts that someone else could if you're going to build a team. In that hard work also is, I see a lot of people. Now, this connects to the other one because of the amount of work. People, because of things like fame, people then believe they don't have to put in the work. The work is always going to be there. And see, the thing is when you start lowering your work because of one of these other situations, that's when you're mistaken that you think you don't have to do the work. You say, hey, I don't have to get out and sell tickets no more. I shouldn't have to put my, you know what I'm saying? I shouldn't have to build my posters anymore. You have to do what it takes to stay in your position and to stay where you feel the success is. If you're making money, you have to stay in that position. So whatever it takes, you have to do the work. You have to take the workload on. This is your career. You have to take the workload on. I talk to tons of artists and they act like, oh, if someone else could do this, do it. If that's what's keeping you from this next situation, do the work. I never got that. Like, people don't like, I hear tons of artists say, I don't sell tickets. That's the weirdest thing to me. Because at the end of the day, if someone else isn't going to sell tickets for you, sell the tickets. Like, get yourself where you need to be. Make people hear your music. It's so odd to me when I hear things like that. Now, where this ties into the other things is the amount of fame. Like, understand the amount of fame. I see people every day, because of the fame, they believe that they're better than the situation. Like, oh man, what, like, I should be getting a sound guy to sound like this. If you don't sound dope in an alley that has nothing in it, if you can't make people be entertained, you have to question your level of entertainment and skill. You can't have all the pyro and the video running and all this like that. If you're not dope just at the end, like just you being dope and performing, just that, then the pyro and all the other stuff and all the extra stuff, it's not gonna do nothing. It just makes something whack look better than what it did as it's whack, but it's still whack. And so people let the fame get to their head that they're like just too good to do work, too good to, you know what I'm saying? Like the type of stage they on, the type of all this, what, I don't even know where that comes from. Like the level of entitlement is crazy. So then it boils down to like, don't let the fame, like for instance, know when to use your fame. And where what I mean by that is you can't let the fame total doing it, because at the same time you can't be touchable or accessible to everybody. At points when you have the fame and you have like people loving you and stuff like that, sometimes you don't need to be around tons of people because that fame can bring attention that's not wanted. So then you need to keep your fame to where people still see it's a mysterious thing that for me to be around this person, I have to get this ticket, or to see this person perform, I have to get this ticket, or to get this like piece of merch, I have to get around this person, whatever. Those pieces of fame, that's what you use it for. You use it for the online stuff to make people feel like, oh my God, this person is this big, or this person this dope. They show off this fame, this level of like this ambiance that they're creating. That's where you keep it. Now, on the business side of where your work goes, they can never coexist with each other. You still have to do the work. So, and now the other third piece is the outside influences. And like, I'm going to bring this all together, but the outside influences that you see, people get into your ear and they may tell you do this, do that. If no one's not putting up no money, if no one's not putting up no work, if they ain't putting up no money or no work, what are they talking about? Like nothing. Nothing. I watch it happen to artists every day. Somebody comes and tells them, "Man, you're the best out here. You're the best in the world. You got some money for me?" That's my first question after somebody say something. Hey, Tef, you should do this with your music. You got some money for me? You gonna come get it on this work? You gonna make these trips from state to state? You gonna find the hotels and do all that? You gonna do that? If you ain't gonna do it, it's nothing to say. It's nothing to say. Nothing at all. And see, people take that and they go like, this person gonna do this for me, and this person gonna take me here, and this person gonna have them do it. But see, the way I seen it always, I need today. I need it today. I need you to do it today. I don't need you to do it like tell me, hey man, I'll get you in the room with this A&R over. Nah. Get them to me today. Make them call me. That's what I need. I need you to make them call me right now. Because to me, it's just tons of here. I know what I can do for myself. So then people, the outside influences, they can't like, the only thing outside influences can do for you is possibly give you a little bit of consumer advice. There's some consumers that are fully consumers that may feel some type of way, that may be like, yo, it'd be dope if you did something like this. But watch how their advice goes. If it benefits them in any way, in a way that's like outside of them just getting a product, probably not. If they have it tied to something else, it probably isn't good advice. If someone comes and just tells you, yo, I like to hear you do a song like this, that's probably going to help you out, because then you can get a new sound or something that you might be able to experience or something like that. Someone may say, hey, that'd be dope if you did this in your show. I hear people go like, I wish I heard you perform this song at your show. That's dope, because then I can do another song that maybe make some other people excited too. But then you have to pay attention to how you level that out with like the outside influence, because the outside influence, a lot of people just say just weird things like, man, you should do this, and like you should if you put this much money up on, well, hold on, if I put that much money up on this, I should already have it. Like it has to be, and that's what, like when I built the app, it's about work. If you however much work you're gonna get, that's what comes back to you. And I make sure that with these artists. Some of these artists, they get on shows that they would have never got on, because I speak to Live Nation and AEG all the time, and then they ask me who are the artists that's moving, and so I say, hey, this kid is doing his thing. She's doing her thing. You should look at them and then put them on a bigger show. Or even if I have the capability to put them on a big show, like for instance, I'm coming out of retirement a little bit to go to the Gothic, and then I'll put some of these young cats on the Gothic with me. And they get to rock with me, so they get the opportunity to be in a place. And for those that don't know what the Gothic is, the Gothic is a venue that holds around 1,200 that's out here, which is a bigger venue for an independent artist. And I'm headline. They asked me to headline again, so I'll bring some of the young artists and have them showcase. And that's who all these fans should be coming for, is these young artists, so they can see them do their thing, because then they're next up to headline that place. And that's how they get into these venues. That's how these other bigger promoters that are like AG and Live Nation that do a lot of the national shows can start knowing who these kids are. And so, but it's based off that hard work and understanding what their hard work. So I'm not telling you anything. I'm not being an outside influence. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But if you want to do it and you want to move forward, here goes the workload. This is what this looks like. This is how you get here. This is how many fans you need to have. This is, you know what I'm saying? These are the cities you need to be in to get to here. So, hey, I'll give you a perfect blueprint. Very transparent. This is what it is. This is the workload. Now, when you take that workload, as I said, you look at what that workload is and see what you can do yourself. If you have to get people from the outside, then yeah, you can slowly bring them in and see if they can help. But you take that workload and you move like that. And then don't let the fame get to your head. Because some people will get into this and then you start seeing the fame. You done a big show. You done 2 big shows. And then you feel like, man, this is, I can do anything I want. Okay. Well, you got to remember how you got here. You got to remember what this workload is. Don't lower on this workload to try to be cool. So you still got to grind it every day and keep that same work ethic. But then also on the other end, keep that fame to where the fans think you popping like that. But you know the workload, but you keep them fans like, oh man, he's killing it out here. He's killing it. Because the moment you let that fame cross over into that hard work, that's when the hard work starts lowering. And that's when the career starts. And then you can't let the outside influence, because see what happens to these artists is once they come and they start building a fan base and they start getting these big shows and they start doing their thing, the outside influence is coming. Well, man, you should be doing. Where were they when you first started? When you first got the first show, where were they? They weren't around. So then you need to make sure you know who those outside influences are. Were they people there on day one, or were they people that just came around now and they just tell you dope now? Don't let that happen. So make sure you pay attention to those things and keep a balance of those between hard work, fame, and outside influences. Understand what levels you need to do. The one thing I also want to add to that is with the hard work, yeah, you can overdo the amount of work you're doing at some points, that you need to know the stuff you don't need to be doing, because some things don't make sense. So some things are just work there that it possibly you can lower that amount of work in one area and up it someplace else. So understand what gets you the return that you need to get and maximize that. Then the other things you lower and come back to and get it moving. Because at points in my career, like I'd say, merch wasn't a main factor. At some points I was kind of like, hey, I really need to focus on getting some of these shows off the ground and making it work like this so I can get this type of visibility that I wanted. And I couldn't really focus on the merch the way I wanted to. So then I understood that I was getting my max, getting my max capacity with like all of it together, but it wasn't working where I wanted to work. Couldn't get the shows up to where I wanted to move, so I had to lower on something and up somewhere else. So understand that too with the hard work. So don't just go out here and just try to do everything. Understand what you can do and what your capacity of hard work is, of what you can control. So once you reach that and you figure out the difference between those, that's another thing you have to balance. So once again, hard work, the fame, and outside influences. Understand and balance those good so you can keep moving and being as successful as you need to be as an independent artist.